about you, my Marie Antoinette, for I will give you eternal
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to day 11 of 31 Days of Monsters. Today we're talking about House of Wax with Vincent Price from 1953. This movie is a Warner Brothers picture, and they pulled out all the stops. They put all the money into this thing that they didn't put into The Creature from the Black Lagoon. In other words, they invested in high quality 3D and also Technicolor, and it really shows. This is really a good film with an excellent cast. I got to see this movie, I think it was around 1972. My brother and I went to go see it at the Lido Theater in Long Beach, New York, in all its Technicolor and 3D glory. We had the glasses and everything. They used a different technique for this 3D than the black and white ones did. It wasn't the red and green lenses. They had a special lens because it was done in color, and it had to be had to use a different technique for it. The irony of it is that the director of this 3D masterpiece, Andre de Toth, had some type of an eye issue, which prevented him from actually seeing it in 3D. Go figure. So this, again, has a great cast. We have, of course, the wonderful Vincent Price in not his first horror movie, but the one that sort of started him on track in a career of horror movies. He had done Return of the Invisible Man and had some other smaller roles in the 40s, but this one really kind of cemented him, and through choice or either these were the roles he was offered, he sort of made a career out of it, and he was always great. Prior to this, he was in wonderful films like His Kind of Woman, and of course Laura. Just a great dramatic actor. He could do comedy as well. Like I said before, he's one of those guys like Bela and Boris that were sort of typecast, but could do so much more. He got to do more than some of the other guys did, but yeah, Vincent Price is great. Let's see, let's go over here to here we go. Here's Vincent Price as Professor Henry Jared in the House of Wax. That's what I want. Yeah, the female lead in this is probably the weakest link in the movie, Phyllis Kirk. For some reason, I find her completely unlikable in this movie. I've never seen her in anything else, although she did bat around in Hollywood for years, but I find her just not likable in this movie. So that's the only negative I could say about it. This is the great Frank Lovejoy and Dabbs Greer. Now, Dabbs we talked about because he was in It, The Terror from Beyond Space. He was in The Green Mile towards the end of his career. The Adventures of Superman. Lots of TV shows. Just one of those faces where you're like, I know that guy. And that's Dabbs Greer. This gentleman on the left is great Frank Lovejoy. He got into films late in life. He was a radio star and very, very wonderful voice and radio actor. He was in Gangbusters, also in Nightbeat, if you follow old-time radio, two great radio programs. He was also in a great 1953 thriller called The Hitchhiker, which was directed by Ida Lupino. Unfortunately, Frank Lovejoy only made it to like 50 years old and died. So he had sort of he got a late start in his career, and it was shortened by his early passing. This is Paul Picerni and Phyllis Kirk. Paul is, again, one of those contract players at Warner Brothers. You've seen him in a lot of TV shows and movies. He's sort of like the handsome lead in this. An early appearance is Carolyn Jones, one of her first appearances in film. You probably recognize her as Morticia from The Addams Family. Another classic star whose early appearance in film is marked by this film is Charles Bukowski, otherwise known as Charles Bronson. Charles Buczynski. And here he is, Charles Bronson, playing Igor, the deaf mute. I don't know if he's deaf, but he is mute. And here we have Vincent Price in his full makeup. And it was great makeup, too. This movie has got all kinds of mood to it. Here he is again, great lighting. Now, one of the things, well, basically the story, if you haven't seen it, and I'm assuming most people have by now, is that this artistic sculptor, Professor Henry Jared, has a wax museum, and he wants to showcase beauty with his wax figures, but his partner is kind of a scumbag, and he wants out, and he wants money, and he decides to burn the place down for his insurance. And they fight, and Henry gets caught in the fire, and he's presumed dead, but he's just horribly scarred. And he comes back, and he's crazy now, and he's got this obsession with his masterpiece, which is Marie Antoinette. And when he finds when he runs into the Phyllis Kirk, he sees his Marie Antoinette. And so what he's been doing since he can't sculpt anymore, he's been killing people and using their bodies, covering them in wax, so it's basically like a mausoleum in this thing. So that's the basic premise of this movie, and it's a remake of an earlier one, a 1932 two-process color film called Mystery of the Wax Museum, which starred Fay Wray just before King Kong, and Lionel Atwill, I think, was the other star in that. This is the big fire scene towards the beginning of the movie, after his partner starts to light up the place. And the paraffin wax, of course, just takes off. Well, on the set, they had a couple real fires that the crew had set, for background to be filmed and stuff like that. But the fires got out of control and really started to burn everything, because it started, just like in the movie, catching onto the wax. And the fire department was called, but because it was too expensive to remake all those wax figures, Andre Detourneau just kept filming even while the fire guys were there putting it out. And Vincent Price actually got his eyebrows singed in that scene. So if he looks really scared in some of these sequences, it's probably a good reason for that. Well, let's see who's in the room this morning. Okay. We've got Monster Fan, good morning. Pop Culture Avengers says, paddleball, anyone? It's funny because this was a 3D film. They went out of their way to, make sure there was stuff coming at you to take advantage of the 3D. So, like, there's a couple scenes where a guy throws a punch and it's like right at the camera. Um, but there's a sequence at the opening of the Wax Museum where they hire like a carnival barker who has these paddle balls, and he's pop pop pop, popping these paddle balls, and then he turns towards the camera, and the balls come on like this back and forth and stuff. And I remember sitting in the theater and thinking that was really cool. I mean, it really felt like that thing was coming at you. Like during the fire scene, like they're throwing stuff, and they throw it towards the camera, and you in the audience would duck. So they made use of the 3D effect, but in all of these movies, you can always see it coming. I guess that's why it was a fad. George Travalos is very excited for today's episode because he says this is his favorite movie. Scott Clark is here. Good morning, Scott. Good morning, Lord Finatra. James Allen is in the house. Jill Schrott. Hello, Jill. Love this movie. I bet I've seen it 40 times. Wow, that's a lot. Dr. Mask says good morning to everybody. Good morning, Dr. Mask. Can't remember if I said good morning, James Allen. Good morning. Jasper Plan 9 says he might possibly rewatch this today. Did this come out before Haunted Hill? Yes. Yeah, this is 1953. Haunted Hill was House on Haunted Hill was like 1959, I want to say. Oh, Monster Fan already answered. Haunted Hill is 60 or 61. Okay, yeah. Remember when Vincent Price used to be on the box and commercials for the board game Hangman? I don't remember Hangman, but I remember Vincent Price being on the box for those shrunken heads. There was that shrunken head kit that you could get. Had a kind of like a green box and had these like little, you had the little head on with the hairs out of it, coming out of it on a string. I remember that. James Allen says, as a blonde, he must be referring to Carolyn Jones. Wow, we got somebody from Russia here. I don't know how to pronounce that, but welcome from Russia. That's pretty cool. Carolyn Jones was also Wonder Woman's mother in the Linda Carter TV show. Oh, yeah. She's another one who died young. I believe she was only in her 40s or early 50s, I think. Let me see. 53. Yeah. That is young. Particularly because I'm 58. Let's see who else. Oh, yeah, here we go. Shrunken head kit, carve it out of an apple. That's right. That's what it was. It was an apple. It's great. What's this? Let's see here. George says he took the studio tour at Paramount Studios and we entered at the Bronson Gate, which was on Bronson Street. They told us that Charles Bronson changed his name because of that street. Interesting. I did not know that. Well, he wouldn't have changed it because of that street, but he might have chosen that name. Let's see, anything else here? The Squish Show says Vincent Price was in another film that had a very similar plot called The Mad Magician. It was also in 3D. Wonder what year that one was. Cisco Wizco. I saw the new version, but I didn't know it was a remake of a classic, so definitely have to watch this classic version. Yeah, check this one out, Cisco, and also check out Mystery of the Wax Museum from 1932. I think it was 1932. The one with Fay Wray and Lionel Atwill. That was the original one that this was based on. Well, Eric says, good morning. Good morning, Eric. Aloha. Good morning. That must be coming from Hawaii. Is it Leiji? Leiji? Not sure how to pronounce that. But welcome. Could you send some of that warm weather here? Because in Buffalo, we're starting to get into colder weather. Matt Cisco says he's enjoying the series and we'll have to watch later because of work. Yeah, I'm going to do a couple evening broadcasts so that, you know, maybe some more folks can see it. You know, I understand in the morning it's tough sometimes, you know, with people going to work and everything. Jasper Planon, I wish Graham would do these short movie reviews every day, not just in October. I love his historian take on these films that have been forgotten due to them not being available on streaming platforms. Well, that sounds like a lot of work. Every day another movie. I could probably do it though. I watch movies all the time. Speaking of radio, what are your thoughts on Price's Price of Fear and the Saint shows? I've never seen heard Price of Fear, but I have heard him in the Saint. I do like old time radio, and especially when, you know, actors of that quality are doing them. Knowing what Vincent Price looks like, I have a hard time picturing him as the Saint, but you know, they're good, solid radio programs. Let's see here. I had to keep scrolling back and forth because some of these comments come in out of order, or they come in after I've passed by. It's weird. Oh, here we go. Here's one that I missed that came in later. Greer was Reverend Alden on Little House on the Prairie. I didn't really watch that show. It wasn't my bag, baby. James points out that Carolyn became the Joan of Arc wax statue. That is correct. Good morning, Allison. Alyssa. When I was looking to rewatch this, I noticed that there was a 2005 and a sequel remake. Boy, did it look hokey. Can't compare to Price's version. Yeah, you know, I don't know why they have to do remakes. 9 times out of 10, they stink. Took me all video long to figure out how to get the comments section to work, and now I have nothing to say. Yes, you do. You just said it. You need to grow your channel past 1,000 subs to monetize, I think. Yes, that is true. So tell your friends. Tell them to subscribe and like the channel. When I'm done, when our 31 days are done, I'm going to be doing a weekly show called The Storytellers, and I'm going to be deconstructing storytelling techniques in visual mediums. comics, movies, TV, different techniques, what works, what doesn't, and I'm going to interview, writers, artists, cartoonists, and discuss their techniques, how they approach storytelling. I think it'll be really interesting. So subscribe to this channel, my friends, if you haven't already, and get your friends to do it too. I think they'll enjoy this show, and I'll do other. I think I will do movie reviews and stuff like that for genres that I really enjoy. I could definitely do one on Westerns, that's for sure. Only people that watch Little House on the Prairie were stuck sharing the TV with their sister. Yes, back in the day when you only had one TV. Okay, let's see. I want to make sure I got everybody here. Jill says Vincent Price is on the box of a game called Egg Magic that Marge and Lisa play on The Simpsons. Ah, that's cool. I did not know that. Okay. And I agree with James Allen. Faye was always gorgeous. She was a beautiful woman. Jasper thinks The Mystery of the Wax Museum is on side 2 of House of Wax DVD. Well, that would be nice if they doubled them up like that. They're both Warner Brothers films, so. Yeah, that explains it. That he was waiting in line. He probably didn't want to use that long. I don't know if he's Lithuanian. I forget what his heritage is. He wanted to shorten it down. Makes sense. Oh, okay. So Monster Fan looked it up, and I was right. House on Haunted Hill is 59. The professor is right. Let's see. I definitely circle the wagons for Graham Nolan's Western I definitely circle the wagons for Graham Nolan's Western Roundup. Oh, we might have to do something there. When is the Shanu movie coming out? Well, that's a good question. I'm concentrating on the comic right now. Let's see. Why don't we? That seems like a good segue. Why don't we play the Shanu intro movie? Because it reads just like a movie. Yeah.
Good evening. Tonight's big story centers on the state of emergency declared this morning in Buffalo.
Between 4,000 and 5,000 cars said to be abandoned on city streets. Buffalo is still very much a city under siege.
Space's wind whips the snow into 30-foot drifts.
Hello tonight, 10 below zero. Get off the streets and highways as soon as possible.
How about that, huh? That's for my horror comic, The Shanu. If you haven't checked it out, I've put the link in the comment section here. So give it a look. Obviously, you guys like monsters and horror films and stuff like that, so I think you'll like this. If you haven't checked it out yet, please do so. Let's see. Damn lake effect snow. Tell me about it. Let's see, George says I should do a Western comic book. Yeah, I would love to do a Western. Yeah, Westerns and horror are probably my largest collection of movie Blu-ray DVDs. Those two genres are my favorites. Let's see, who else? Got to go back a little bit, make sure I got everybody covered here. Hometown monster movie, go Bills. Indeed, that's our rallying cry. Go Bills. But they're not going today. I guess we got to play Tuesday. I joined a Kickstarter for, well, it would probably be a Indiegogo because that's where I have the comic up. So, well, I guess that that should wrap it up here, gang. I think we covered everything about the movie. I got to pimp the Shanu a little bit, you know. So sue me. What am I gonna do? I gotta get the word out. So tomorrow we're gonna be talking about I'm gonna say Little Scene movie because it was made by Disney back in 1983, I believe, and it's not on the Disney Plus network. It's never been released on Blu-ray. There's a DVD version of it. It's based on Ray Bradbury's Something Wicked This Way Comes, starring Jonathan Pryce and Jason Robards. It's an excellent movie with just a really great feel for the autumn in that season. So we're going to talk about that one tomorrow. If you haven't had a chance to see it, see if you can find it somewhere. I don't know if it's, I'm pretty sure it's not streaming anywhere unless maybe YouTube. There's a bootleg copy up on YouTube. There's a DVD version I think you can still get on Amazon. But at any rate, we're going to talk about that one tomorrow. So thanks for tuning in today, and we shall see you then. Okay? Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.